Welcome to my channel, Love Your Skin Tips by Yolandi. So today I'm just going to show you guys very simple how to do a manicure step by step at home if you don't have time to go into a salon. So firstly we shall be using a cuticle pusher. I've got a metal cuticle pusher with me, which has got the flat side that you push the cuticles with, and then there's just a sharp one that you clean around the nails with. Then I've got a cuticle nipper. Remember, these tools are quite sharp, so you have to be very careful while working with them. I've got a nail file. I prefer using the emery board. I don't like using the metal nail files. I've got my nail polish remover just to ensure that the nails are clean before I do any painting. My base and top coat in one, just a clear nail polish that I'm going to be applying on my nails today. Then I've got a little glass container here where I'm going to decant my cuticle oil into and use a brush to apply the cuticle oil or the coconut oil around the cuticles just to nourish them. Okay, so let's start with our step-by-step manicure and how to have nice, neat nails. Firstly, we're going to ensure that our hands are nice and clean. We've washed them, we dry them nicely so that we can work with them. Okay? Then we're going to take our cuticle pusher. We're going to gently push the cuticles back. You don't want to press too hard on the cuticles because you don't want to damage them. You don't want to hurt your cuticles. And it will just be really painful if you do that. So always ensure that you work really gentle when you do push the cuticles back. And now that we've pushed the cuticles back, I'm just going to use the sharpened side of the cuticle pusher and then just gently scrape off, if I can, any dead skin cell that has grown over the nail. I'm also going to just clean on the sides of the nail just to ensure that there's no dead skin or anything like that. Once again, don't press this thing or push it too far underneath the nail because you can hurt and damage your nail bed. And it is just extremely painful. You don't want to do that. So just gently go all the way around, make sure that there's no dead skin. If they do come off, if they don't want to come off with this, I'm going to show you guys a couple of steps of what you can do a little bit later on. So if they don't want to come off, just rather leave them. Don't go over scraping because you can hurt yourself. Okay, now I'm going to do the exact same thing on my right hand. My left hand is a little bit dumb when it comes to working with any form of tools, and so just bear with me with this one. I did speed up the video slightly here. But we're going to be doing exactly the same thing on the right hand as what we have done on the left hand. Gently pushing back the cuticles and then just using the sharp side just to ensure that there's no excess skin. Once again, be careful, don't push it too hard, scrape too hard because you don't want to hurt yourself. We are now going to be using a cuticle nipper. These tools are extremely sharp, so you have to be really careful. If you're not sure how to use them, rather not. You don't want to hurt yourself. Cut your cuticles, cut too deep as your cuticles will bleed and will be extremely painful. And also when you work with these, make sure that you do not drop them, because if you do drop these tools, the tips bent and they don't close properly, so you won't be able to cut your cuticles smoothly. It will actually just tear off the cuticles when you do that and pull them off. You don't want to do that. I will do a quick video just to make sure, or just to show you guys how to sharpen these tools. It's actually really simple. We've all got these things around our house, and so yeah, so then we'll just keep them sharp at the house. And once again, be careful, gently cut off any excess skin. If there's no excess skin, don't do any cutting. You can also, if there's any excess skin left on the nail itself, you can just gently cut them off as well. Now, when you're working with your non-dominant hand, always go extra slow, especially with sharp tools, because you don't want to hurt yourself. That's why I always just go extra slow, and I never know how to like hold my hand so that I can actually see what I'm doing and do it properly without hurting myself. So my hands does look a little bit awkward at this point in time in the video. Okay, when all that is done, we just check and make sure that there's no excess cuticles left. Next, I'm going to be using a nail file. I like using the ones that's emery board. This one has got 100 and 180 grit. The 100 grit is the lot smoother one. The 180 is what I usually would use on either toenails or artificial nails like acrylic, as it is quite sharp. Okay, always ensure that you do file in one direction, just to make sure that you don't break any protein keratin bonds in the nail itself. Sometimes when I go around the corners, I go a little bit back and front, just because I don't like that full-on square nails. I like the shape called squoval. But you don't want to go back and front, just do one direction. Always ensure that you keep the nail file nice and flat against the nails, because if the nail file is kept at an angle, you will actually file your nails quite sharp. So yeah, don't want to do that. Okay, so like I said, do not go back and front, just always go in one direction when you do file. It is sometimes a bit of a thing when you are used to doing it quick back and front on the nail itself, to get out of that habit, but just try a couple of times and you will get into the rhythm of going just one direction only. Okay, sorry if you guys can't really see much of what I'm doing. Just my left hand and right hand is not cooperating today. But I've just done exactly the same on this hand as what I've done on my left hand. Okay guys, so the next one we're going to do is I'm going to buff the nails on top. So I'm just quickly getting my nail file. I generally just use one of my older nail files. One second guys. Okay, sorry about that. I just stay close to the railroad track and the train came past and it's just way too loud. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be using an old nail file. Always keep the nail file flat on the nail or the buffer. Never keep it at an angle. Because when you do keep it at an angle, you can actually buff or file in ridges on top of the nail. and it will just weaken the nail at that spot. So as it grows out, that spot will break. It can also become quite painful. It can become a bit pinkish, reddish, because you've overfiled on that area. So like I said, sorry, as I got interrupted with the train, I always use an old nail file which is not that sharp, especially if I don't have a buffing block. I haven't been able to get one actually lately, so I've just got an old nail file that I'm using flat on the nail, just to ensure that I've got or remove any of the excess dead skin that's on the nail itself. On the sides of the nails you can go a little bit at an angle, because otherwise you won't be able to get in there. But just gently file at the back, really softly. You don't want to over buff and file the nails. For this also, when you do buff the nails on top, you actually help to smoothen out the nails a little bit, especially if you've got some ridges. But don't over buff the surface of the nail to remove the ridges, because you can actually thin your nails, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to thin our nails, we just want to smooth them slightly. If you've got very deep ridges, I will do a video regarding the different types of nails and nail conditions for you guys, so that you can understand that as well. But just gently file. You do get some, like your nail polish, your base coat or so, that you do get, or nail treatments that will actually fill in those ridges when you paint, so that your nail polish goes on smoothly. But yeah, so that's it. So just gently buff at the back of the nail, just remove any excess skin. Okay, now when all of that is done, what we're going to do is remove our clean our nails, to remove any oils, any dust, or anything that is on the nails. I just always use an acetone free nail polish remover. You can use one that does contain acetone. It just really dries out your nails and your cuticles, so I prefer using non-acetone or acetone free nail polish remover, as it doesn't dry out the nails and the cuticles, but it just also still helps to clean them. Now I've got a Nykaa double 2-in-1. We are going to roll the nail polish between our hands. Never shake the bottles, because believe it or not, the bottles can break by the necks. It has happened before. And then you've got nail polish everywhere. So rather just roll it between your hands, and then just gently apply the nail polish from the back by the cuticles to the front, and always use or cover the tips. Okay, for the reason for this is to ensure that your nail polish lasts longer. It just gives a nice and clean look at the end of the day. You just do about 3, 4, 5 strokes at the most over the nail, and then just cover the tip. And like I said, when you do have your nail polish, do not shake the bottle. Also, not just for the bottle not to break, but when you do shake your nail polish, what will happen is it causes, or it creates little air bubbles. Now sometimes you can't see these air bubbles. You think that your nail polish is fine, and after the nail polish is dried, your nail polish actually formed bubbles. Okay, it like bubbled up. It's literally just because of air being trapped between the bristles, and they're drying out like that. That is not the only thing that will cause bubbles with the nail polish. Sometimes what happens is, if you're sitting in a room that has got way too much of cross ventilation, lots of breeze, that also causes the nail varnish to bubble. And if the nail varnish is old as well, that also causes bubbling. So once again, my left hand is not really working that well. Just trying to paint properly without going all over my cuticles and everywhere. Okay, usually you would do 2 coats. I've only done 1 just so that I can show you guys how to do the painting. And then you would, if you want to, you can still follow with color, or you can just keep it plain and simple as it is. So now I'm going to do cuticle treatment. You can either use Vaseline, you can use coconut oil like I've got, you can use castor oil, you can also use olive oil if you want. It just depends on what you've got in the house, what you want to use. Or you can actually go and get proper cuticle oil. All these oils or treatments do exactly the same. It just comes in different oils. So I usually just decant into a little glass container and use a brush just to apply the cuticle oil or any oil treatment that I'm doing. What you can also use is a wooden cuticle pusher. You would just cover the tip with cotton wool just to ensure that the product that you're going to use doesn't go directly onto the orange wood stick, that it absorbs it. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the nail brush and I'm just going to gently go around the corners. You don't want to use too much of oil because you don't want to have oil everywhere. Just gently go around over the cuticles. You don't want to do this on the nail itself, especially if the nail polish isn't dry, because you will smudge your nails. But in general, whenever you apply it every night or during the day when you've got no nail polish, or if your nail polish is dry, you can go over the nails itself. So just gently massage it into the cuticles. This will just help with the absorption. And all of these oils and ointments that I've shown you, they're very good in vitamin E, which is good for the nails, very nourishing, and it just helps to lock in moisture. And especially if you've got dry, cracked cuticles, these oils are absolutely amazing, especially coconut oil and Vaseline. I've found that it works really well. Castor oil, also very, very thick oil, so you don't want to use too much. So guys, that is it. That is a basic step-by-step manicure and having nice neat nails without going to a salon. If you got any questions regarding nail care, skincare, drop them in the comments below. If you found this really helpful, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you get notified on when my next content will be coming out. And I will see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.